there's certain criteria that you have to fit in ceremonially. I'm sure I'll explain that to you, but it's a very humbling experience. And in this ceremony, these walks, if you can imagine, I pretty much walked the whole way in regalia, every river I've walked. So whenever you see a picture of me in the newspaper or my wife, we walk right down Mercury Boulevard. I was in this all the way from Williamsburg, Richmond. But it's a very humbling experience. The women handle water, men handle fire. Men, hello. Men do not handle water because women give birth to life. Water is always involved. So think of it, water and fire. It's not a good combination, but I guess it works. But anyway, the men usually come along to give support to the women and protect the women. Because, again, I say this is a very humbling experience because these women are out in the elements. Ticks, dogs, whatever you can think of, going through all of these territories. And a lot of times they need protection. So I drive along in the vehicle or I walk with them or other men. We all, what do you call it? Take turns rotating out. And I've witnessed quite a few just phenomenal situations. We watched the women walk with the copper vessel, and the cows will all come out the field and walk along with them as if it's something magical. And I've seen horses do it also. I've watched my adopted auntie, which is Sharon Day. She spearheads a lot of these walks, and her elder mother Josephine, did it before her. But I can remember one instance I would just love to share with you that Sharon Day was walking, my auntie, and a number of road. We were in this little small town way up in the hills, and they had no red light, nothing. And all of these huge dogs came out in a very aggressive manner. And I swerved and put the car between my auntie and the dogs. And my auntie, she spoke to the dogs and said, "You all stop that." And they immediately stopped and came up to her and licked her hand. It looked like magic, literally.
It was.
So you see some really amazing things, how these ceremonies are connected to people and land, and you actually see tangible things that happen when you're there.
Can I pick to address that as well? The after the James River walk that we did, and we put the prayer bundle into the Chesapeake Bay here. Later that year, I read an article that said that there was this area in the Chesapeake Bay that was clear. They have a picture of it. They saw it over flying in the airplane. This large area, and they're saying, how in the world did that happen? So I mean, our prayer is, for healing. So I can't say that was definitely responsible, but the scientists have no explanation for it.
I gotta say this also. When they put that water from the headwaters back into this water, the dolphins came out and you could hear them. And my auntie had never seen a dolphin, and she was just in awe that these dolphins
special spirits as well.
Yeah, it was a pretty amazing thing.
I just want to say one last thing about the water is that in this area, that's how we communicated. I'm not from this area, from the Great Lakes. Every native nation that's near water, that's how we, do trade. That's how we, go and party with each other. That's how we do everything. So a lot of nations now are on the eastern seaboard here are trying to rejuvenate their canoe societies, and they're getting together. You probably have heard of like the Northwest, how they have those big canoe gatherings and all the tribes come together and they spend days and they cook and they just enjoy each other. So that is something that's being renewed here on the eastern seaboard as well. We have our canoe songs, we have our ceremonies, we have, it's really beautiful. You know, our special dress is very beautiful.
One of the things that I wanted you all to take away from here, you know, I was telling Jason, I'm 30 years retired Air Force, and I've been all over the world to, you know, every far corner. And when you get to other nations, you hear the language of the people there. How many of you all ever heard native language here, the indigenous languages here? Yet no one seems to find that strange. But if you go to Germany, you're going to hear German. You know? So one of the things I wanted you all to take away, you know, when I initially started, I speak my language. I'm one of the last few speakers of the lower four Iroquois, the Opeongwe people. That word, Opeongwe, it means first people in reference to my people. If I was referring to all of my relatives, in which you all would be, which is mankind, I would say Ekwehewe. So let me hear you all say Ekwehewe.
Ekwehewe.
Good. Awesome. And Ongweongwe.
Ongweongwe.
Nawe. Thank you. So for me, language is extremely important, and it always gives me a chance, opportunity to practice my own language, because I'm not always, you know, around my own people, and there's very few speakers anyway. But I grew up this was my first language. English is my third language. So Skaruda is my first language, and my people also spoke Salagi, and then English. And of course, both my wife and I were world travelers. We were pretty proficient in quite a few other languages also. One of the things I want to impress upon people, I've gone to a number of events, and the way that history is told here, and I'm just going to use this for instance, Thanksgiving. You know, we're not that far away from so-called November. I had a discussion with an individual, and they were telling me about the first official Thanksgiving here. And I must always remind you all, you are living here on a civilization that's over 30,000 years old. So, you know, verbiage and how you tell stories and how your children learn is extremely important, because it lays the foundation for how we all treat each other and respect each other. You know, we would say, I speak Aganonyok, which we call the Thanksgiving address, and which our people have done for thousands of years. We don't know how long. But it's a time that we take throughout the year to just give thanks to all of creation, all above and all below. And it gives everyone the opportunity. The speaker, it is their job to speak, but it is all of our jobs to give thanks. Something very simple. So anytime the speaker who's doing Aganonyok, which is the word spoken before all else. So, and this ceremony we would do in everything that we did. So if we were having a longhouse meeting, the first thing that we would do is Aganonyok. And again, it's everyone's responsibility to whatever the speaker misses, It's all of our responsibility to take the time out and give thanks. So there's no such thing as, if you use verbiage, please refrain from using words such as first, things, here, this, that, and the other. And be mindful that the civilization here is old, ancient. And every time I turn around, it gets even older. I can remember in grade school, they were saying my people were only 6,000 years old, in which, of course, I knew different. Ancient civilization here. We don't know yet how old. Every time I turn around, my people are getting older. Again, verbiage. If you say first Thanksgiving, or as the person pointed out, the first official Thanksgiving here, I said, well, no, we've been having Thanksgiving here for thousands of years, so that may have been the first English or British Thanksgiving. But anyway, so we touched on some language, so I hope everyone has learned some language. I want to give you one other thing, or a couple other things, but how are we on time?
7:36.
I could talk. Y'all don't have enough time for me. I'm gonna give you something here that we call this continent Turtle Island. A lot of people don't know it's called Turtle Island, and it refers to our and my regalia. Our regalia always tells stories, and they have significance within ceremony, and this sky dome is part of our creation story. And within that creation story,
Just that, like many native nations, don't believe that they originated on the planet, that they came from the sky or came up from the earth. So the Iroquois and the Anishinaabe have stories of coming from the sky. And the beautiful story, I love the Iroquois story as well, about Sky Woman. And it's filled with a lot of symbolism and even some science that NASA has studied as well. But basically, Sky Woman fell from the sky and landed, but before she landed onto there was only water. So the creatures that were here, they said, oh, look, she's falling. So the geese, the swans, they came and tried to break her fall. And the animals, one after the other, went down to the bottom of the water to try to go down there to bring up mud to put on the back of the turtle so that she could land softly. And every animal, one after the other, went down, and they perished. It was too deep. They couldn't do it. But the muskrat was able to go down and grab some of the dirt and come back up. And some stories say he died in the process, but he had the mud in his hand. So that was placed on the back of the turtle. And when Sky Woman landed, she was able to, there's a dance in the Iroquois tradition called the Skanye, and that's the woman dancing. And as she's dancing, she's spreading, and the turtle's back is getting bigger and bigger until you have the continent. So that is,
so again,
in a nutshell, that's really simplified. Oversimplified.
So that's part of our creation story, and that's why we call this continent Turtle Island, or Rocklis. Rocklis Huinu. Rocklis Huinu. Turtle Island. Rocklis is a turtle. And I'm going to show you this, and imagine we've been telling this story for thousands of years, even before we migrated all along this continent. we said part of that creation story when the Sky Woman fell, she fell on the back of a turtle. We say this continent was shaped like a turtle. How would we know that it was shaped like a turtle? Thousands of years ago. Could we have possibly mapped it out? I don't have the answer, but hence Turtle Island. So imagine that before the Hubble.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another thing I'm going to share with you about the rockfish, the turtle. This is a rockfish shell, snapping turtle shell. It's a shield also. We use it as a calendar. I'm going to get one of these young gentlemen right here, this young gentleman. This is what I want you to do. I want you to count how many plates you see here. Just these big ones. See, give me a rough number of how many you count. What are the big ones? Come on. Almost. 13. There are 13 on here. There are also the smaller ones around the edge. They're all on, and this is on every turtle. And there are 28 always. So, this is how I get it right. 13 months, exactly, 4 weeks, 28 days, which makes up, when you do the math, 364.
That's a lunar calendar.
It's a lunar calendar based on the moon. So, and this is what we did, everything, planting, based on this accurate calendar. And then there's a 1 day, in which they call a 0 day, in which they start with, which would give you 365. Exactly.
Before Gregorian.
Before Gregorian calendar.
That's interesting.
And the turtle is one of the clans of our people.
Yeah. And I am Deweese, which is Snipe clan.
And I'm Turtle. So the Turtle clans, I did want to speak some on the clans, but we'll go ahead and finish what you're doing first. We'll talk about the clans.
Oh, well, every nation here, well, it's not just every nation, it's every group of tribal people. It doesn't matter where you are, whether it's Celtic, whether you're in Afghanistan, whether you're in Africa, all have clan systems, as we did here. And each nation here had their own individual clan system. And I think I'll let her give more detail on the clan system.
So